Hey everyone, I'm floating on the moon, trying to reach the goal. Today, I'll show you how I built this simple game in Scratch. You can follow along and make your own version too. We'll cover 4 parts: screen setup, sprite setup, core logic, result system. This game is called Gravity Flip Lab. You control gravity to reach the goal. The player moves left and right automatically. Press space to flip gravity. The player will rise upward and move toward the goal. Each time you hit a wall, your score decreases. So reach the goal as fast as you can and aim for a high score. By the way, I also made a Godot version of this game. Godot is a beginner-friendly but powerful game engine, even used for commercial game development. If you want to become a pro game developer, check out the Godot tutorial in the description below. Let's start with the screen setup. First, I created 3 different backdrops: a title screen, level 1, and level 2. Each backdrop represents a different part of the game. The title screen is shown at the beginning, and the level backdrops are used during gameplay. In this game, most of the game logic is inside the player sprite, the Scratch cat. Let's take a look at the code. To control which screen is shown, I use 2 variables: game state, level. The game state controls what phase the game is in, like title, playing, or clear. The level variable tells the game which stage we are on. When the green flag is clicked, set game state to title and switch the backdrop to the title screen. This makes sure the game always starts from the same place. Next, when the space key is pressed, set level to 1, set game state to title. This resets the game and makes the player start from the first level. Then, during the game, I continuously check 2 things. Is the game currently in the playing state, and which level is selected? Based on these conditions, I switch the backdrop to match the correct level. So for example, if game state equals playing and level equals 1, show level 1. If game state equals playing and level equals 2, show level 2. This means the entire screen system is controlled by variables, not by manual switching. And this makes it very easy to add more levels later. Next, let's look at the sprites. The main character is the cat, and this is the player you control. In addition to the player, I also created a few other sprites. A goal block that the player needs to reach. Some obstacles, like lightning. A result display that appears when the game ends, and a title display for the title screen. Each sprite follows the same basic rule: it checks the game state and decides what to do. For example, during title, the title display appears. During playing, the player, goal, and obstacles are visible. During clear, the result message appears. To do this, each sprite runs a loop like: check the current game state. If it matches the correct condition, show; otherwise, hide. This approach keeps everything very organized. Instead of manually controlling each sprite, they all react automatically based on the game state. Now for the most important part, the core game logic. There are a lot of blocks here, but don't worry. Each group of blocks has a simple role. Let's take a closer look. First, I initialize all the variables when the game starts. Score, Vx, horizontal velocity, Vy, vertical velocity, gravity, level, game state. This step is very important, because it ensures the game always starts in a consistent state. Without this, the behavior could become unpredictable. I change the gravity depending on the level, so I initialize it inside each if block. I also set the cat's costume to face right, since it starts by moving to the right. Finally, don't forget to add a wait until block at the end. This makes sure the initialization runs only once at the start of each level. Next is the movement system. The player moves using velocity values. Vx controls left and right movement. Vy controls up and down movement. Every frame, I do 2 things. Move the player by Vx and Vy. Apply gravity to Vy. This creates a simple physics effect, so the player naturally falls or rises depending on gravity. The rest of the code handles boundary checks. If the player hits the left or right edge, it bounces back by reversing the horizontal velocity, Vx, the score decreases. The cat's costume changes to match the new direction. If the player hits the floor or ceiling, the vertical movement stops by setting the vertical velocity, Vy, to 0. The player is positioned on the floor or ceiling. The main mechanic of this game is gravity flipping. When the player presses the space key, the gravity value is reversed, so the player starts moving in the opposite direction. This allows the player to fall down normally, or flip and move upward. Finally, the result system. When the player touches the goal, the game state changes to clear, and a clear message is displayed. I also added a simple level system. When the player clears a level, they can press a key to continue. The level value increases, and the next stage loads automatically, because the screen and sprites are all controlled by variables. Adding new levels becomes very easy. Finally, when the player hits an obstacle, the game state becomes fail. After a short delay, the level restarts. Let's check that everything works correctly. Click the green flag to start the game. Maximize the screen. Press space to begin. The score is shown in the top left for debugging, and it decreases when the player hits the side edges. When the player reaches the goal, you'll see a clear message and the final score. Press N to go to the next level. This one is the moon stage. The movement feels more floaty because of the lower gravity. Let's test the lightning obstacles. If you touch one, the game stops and restarts after a short delay. Nice. Everything is working perfectly. You can adjust the gravity, change the backdrops, or customize the player to create your own game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.